Welcome to Principles Only, with the two of us discussing events of the day. And today we're going to discuss the World Cup just to show our common touch. The World Cup, well, sports is war by other means or something. I can't remember who said that, but it's a commonplace to say if we all just fought each other on the sports field, we wouldn't have to fight each other on the battlefield. And we've been got we are speaking just the night after the what's regarded as the best World Cup match of this particular World Cup, England uh, beating Mexico, and we compared our predictions yesterday afternoon, and I thought that England were going to choke as they usually do, but you thought they might actually win. Well, you were right. Um, and you wanted to talk a little bit about, well, I mean, we aren't quite, we are a little bit geopolitical always. It's in our blood and in our spine. So we might be able to relate it just as I did a few successful and unsuccessful shows over the years, talking about Eurovision and mostly to criticize it, but also just to compare it to it's a kind of unifying event. At the same time, it showcases how the continent of Bach and Beethoven and the Beatles has declined. But it's fun to talk about who votes for whom, and the little bit of pop psychology meeting geopolitics. But we'll see if where we get there. Martin, so you've been watching the World Cup, and what are your thoughts about it?
I have radical thoughts to save European civilization coming straight out of it, Pele. We
Right.
should get FIFA, or at least the European soccer federations, from all the major West European nations, and soccer that includes Norway, of course. We should and the Netherlands. We should get them to take over the running of Europe from the European Union and from the so-called national governments in London, Paris, and the like. We don't want fascists. We don't want communists. We certainly don't want racists and Nazis. But we want humane people who will work together, who are not anti-European, and who succeed. And we always hear these Spenglerian stories. Many of you and I share many of these views. Our friends and guests do as well. Western civilization is in crisis. It's running down. There's a crisis of confidence. And yet, what do we see in the World Cup? What do we see on the soccer field? We see European teams in this wonderful World Cup beating the great Latin American teams, which have rightly dominated the game and enriched the game so much for so long. And we see them beating them on their own terms. England just knocked out Mexico yesterday 3-2 in one of the great classic games in World Cup history. 5 goals scored. England shamefully reduced to 10 people by the way the ham-headed rules run. I do not blame the referee, but they held on with 10 players and they beat Mexico, which is a magnificent team. What happened to Germany? A shock on the other side. They were knocked out by Paraguay. And what was the greatest shock of all on the other side? Population of Norway, as you well know, less than 6 million people. Population of Brazil, 213 million people. Brazil, arguably the greatest national heritage in the history of global soccer over the past century, has won the World Cup 5 times. And not only do they win, every time you see a Brazilian national team play, it is a joy. It is a joy to watch them. It is the great secular religion and passion of the great nation of Brazil. And who beat them? Norway. Population smaller than Ireland, smaller than Israel, much smaller than the Netherlands or Belgium. Population of 5.6 million people, less than 6 million people in Norway. And there was no doubt about who was going to win. Norway has their wonderful, magnificent striker who scores in every game. Wow. A European team beating a Latin American team. And there are now 5 great teams left, and 4 of them are European.
Mm.
France, who I think we can go into it in a little while, I still bet on France to win. Spain, one of the greatest teams they've ever put out there. Glorious team. England has the best team they have had at least since 1966. And they have, at long last, every English team is solid and respectable, but they lack two things. They always lack, for 60 years, they play like English bureaucrats. They play well, competently, like the English civil service and yes, minister, competently, responsibly. No flair, no excitement, no joy, no daring, no attack, no risk. And this team does all of those things. And who gave it to them? Their manager, who's from Germany, a German manager managing the England team.
Mm.
And who's the captain of the England team? The great Harry Kane, the first truly great Pele class, Franz Beckenbauer class striker and goal scorer and game winner that England has had in 60 years since the golden age of my own beloved Sir Bobby Charlton, who led them to victory in 1966 and would have done in 1970 if the grey, dull, ghastly bureaucrat, Sir Alf Ramsey, who was the manager of the team, had not pulled Bobby Charlton off a crucial game to rest him, quote unquote, after Charlton had scored crucial goals, and then Germany came back and knocked them out, and went on, of course, to deservedly win the title that year. But England is back, and it's a wonderful team, and Spain is there, and Norway is there, and they're beating major. Virtually all
So
the
who's
great
the
Latin
fifth team?
American
France,
teams.
Spain, Norway, England. Who's the fifth one?
I forgot. I have
Oh,
a
okay.
mental block just because it's my age. And actually, let's look it up. Hang on.
All right. Well,
But also, everyone is talking about race hatred in Britain and Europe, and it's a major issue. And it is an issue, but why is it an issue? But in terms of integrating large Black or Asian communities and Muslim communities in Western Europe, given and in Britain, given enough time and given the very important maintenance of law and order to protect everybody of every background, this can be handled and is done. The real problem in Britain is liberal permissivism. It's allowing rapists and predators, whether they are black or white or Asian or young or old, to run riot and take advantage of young women and children and the elderly. It's a breakdown of law and order, and Keir Starmer has been contemptible that way. I hope Andy Burnham will be better as the Prime Minister. Who knows? But what do you see on the soccer field? You see Jude Bellingham. You see the obvious successor to Harry Kane as the most loved and respected man in Britain. Harry Kane should go into a political career afterwards. We could use him. And I don't say it lightly, and eventually Judd Bellingham too, because they are examples not just in tolerance, but in teamwork, in ability, in competence, in being the best at what they do, and in recognizing that other people need to be the best at what they do. They are professionals in the very best sense of the word. They are not just sports heroes. They are like my own great hero, Danny Blanchflower, for Northern Ireland and for Tottenham Hotspur. Again, an eminent team, I think, for Judd Bellingham now. And who does Harry Kane play for today? Is it Arsenal anymore? No. Great record in the English Premier League. I think the greatest record as a striker anyone has ever had. And today, since 2023, he is the star of Bayern München, the great, glorious Bavarian team. Right. So once again, we've been beyond 1966 and 1970. It isn't just Britain and Germany, England and Germany at peace playing each other at soccer. It's England and Germany cooperating in the best way in the Bundesliga and in the Premier League. And this is the model we want for Europe.
Martin, we'll have a slightly shorter show now, but just to say, give me a few thoughts about what you think about what's the mood in America now? Do they feel that they've had a good World Cup? I mean, I'm talking Europe about some Europeans are supposed to be amazed by the prosperity of the American middle classes and their hospitality, and then they've the beauty of the stadiums, and some Americans are well bemused by the boringness of soccer compared to American football. So there are a few opinions floating out there. But what do you reckon? I mean, your neighbors, your community, are they following the World Cup, or is it
Oh
just
yes, absolutely. I mean, we live in semi-rural New Jersey. A few more Republicans than is typical for New Jersey, but New Jersey is largely a Democratic state. I mean, and again, what you're saying Europeans are bemused by, we have been running down in America, and we recognize this vis-a-vis China and vis-a-vis East Asian nations. We are running down. We need to reindustrialize. We need to reinvigorate our society and our economy. But relative to Europe, we've still got it. All the things that you say the European visitors to America are amazed by is nothing new to us. You could go to any American football or baseball game in the last 50 or 60 years, and you never had thugs or yobbos there. It was always a family experience. That was the real reason for having lots of beautiful girl cheerleaders before
Mm,
every macho football game.
mm,
It's a feminizing influence. It's a healthy distinction between in which both macho men and ladies who want to strut their stuff and look good can go out there. Families go together.
mm,
Uh, American sports have always been inclusive that way.
mm,
This is by nature. I had a couple of friends back in Northern Ireland. You really pissed me off because they were sneering at the 4th of July. There are plenty of arguments to make against American double standards, the enormous problems we have in many aspects of our society, obviously.
mm,
But the 4th of July is not like the 12th of July in Northern Ireland. It's not a triumphant
mm,
bash of hatred or sectarianism of one side of community towards the other,
mm,
which will then be heartily repaid back by the other side a month or so later.
mm,
It's inclusive.
mm,
Doesn't matter if you're Protestant or Catholic, if you're
mm,
Muslim or Jewish or
mm.
Buddhist or
So,
Shintoist, you're
uh,
welcome in America on the 4th of July. And
so
this is
what
what
to wind up
the
here?
World Cup
So you
displays
think
as
that some
well.
some of this American family orientation can spread to the European game? Is that what you're saying, or should at least?
No, well, I mean, it can and it should. Yes, you're right. But what I'm saying is that I'm confirming what you said, that what the Europeans are amazed to see in America is what has always been in America.
Mm,
I've lived here for 40 years. I've been coming over here for nearly 50 years. When I first visited here, I expected to be mugged on every street corner. When I got out of the subway on my first visit to Manhattan, I was amazed, not just how peaceful
mm,
life was, but how good natured everyone was, how generous people are. On
mm,
my first visit to America in 1982, a friend of mine brought me to a barbecue thrown by a friend of his who was an African American small businessman who'd done very well for himself. And he had a background in the US military before, I think in the Air Force, before retiring from the Air Force and going into successful business. I think as I recall, he ran his own restaurant, a very successful one. I'm enjoying his hospitality. It wasn't 4th of July, but it was a nice party, lots of burgers, lots of beer,
mm.
lots of ice cream. And I'm really being mellow. And my host comes over to me and stops me in the back. He says, Martin, isn't it? And he knows I'm from Ireland. It's like visiting over here. I said, it's absolutely wonderful. I only wish I could live over here.
Mm.
He grabs me by both arms. And he says, well, why don't you? What's stopping you? Come on. You're young. You're in good health. You seem bright enough. You'll easily find a place over here. You've already got lots of friends, including me. And the sheer can do-ness of it, the optimism of it, the generosity of this gentleman,
Mm,
who'd come up the hard way himself,
mm.
communicated itself to me. And to
Yeah.
this day, that is still the heart and essence of America. And America hosting the World Cup shows this at its
So,
best to the world.
so what we're going to see at the end of this is 300,000 European football fans seek asylum in America.
Yes, or
They're not
even
going to
better,
come back.
they go back and they take the best of America back
Well, let's
to
hope
Europe
that
and
best
they
of America
rejuvenate Europe.
we're in the continent that's beset and obsessed with America in a negative way, and they'll be goodwill ambassadors. Sounds like
And
wonderful.
we in turn are learning the excellence of European soccer.
That's right.
And the Netherlands is still there too.
Okay.
Wonderful soccer team. Glorious.
Great. Thank you so much, Martin. See you tomorrow.
I hope so. Bye, my